Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. How are you today? Today I am here with Ayushi and today we are going to talk about my first job interview.
Hello everyone. I am very happy to be here today. Let's start our conversation.
Ayushi, I'm really excited about today's topic because many people watching us are students or beginners who are preparing for their first job. But before we talk about interviews, I want to start with something interesting. Today you work at Microsoft, but your journey started with a salary of only 15,000 rupees per month. That is a huge difference.
It really is, Raj. And honestly, if someone had told me a few years ago that one day I would work at Microsoft, I probably would not have believed them. At that time, I was just a regular student trying to find my first opportunity. I had dreams, but I also had a lot of doubts. Every day I was applying for jobs, checking emails, and hoping that somebody would give me a chance.
I think many people can relate to that feeling. You work hard, you apply everywhere, and then you keep waiting for a response.
Exactly. And sometimes the waiting is harder than the work itself. I remember one particular period when I was spending hours every day searching for jobs. In the morning, I used to open my laptop with a lot of hope. By the evening, I often felt disappointed because most companies never replied. Some rejected me and many simply ignored my application.
Wait, Ayushi, sorry to interrupt you, but you just used two very interesting terms here. Thoda pehle you said I would not have believed them, and just now you said I used to open my laptop. Before we move forward, can you please tell our viewers when we use would and used to, because many beginners get confused here.
Oh, absolutely, Raj. Let's make it very simple for everyone. We use used to for past habits or past situations that are no longer true now. जैसे मैंने कहा, I used to open my laptop, मतलब मैं पहले सुबह उठकर लैपटॉप खोला करती थी, पर अब मेरी वो रूटीन नहीं है. और would का यूज हम तब करते हैं जब हम किसी इमेजिनरी सिचुएशन के बारे में बात करते हैं, जो रियल नहीं है, बस हम इमेजिन कर रहे हैं. जैसे I would not have believed them, यानी अगर कोई पहले बोलता तो मैं बिलीव नहीं करती क्योंकि वो एक कल्पना थी.
Oh, right. But Ayushi, I know that would के और भी बहुत सारे uses होते हैं daily life में. Can you please tell our viewers where else we can use would ताकि उनका पूरा doubt clear हो जाए?
यस राज, वुड के दो और इम्पॉर्टेंट यूजेस हैं जो हम डेली लाइफ में बहुत यूज करते हैं. पहला यूज होता है पोलाइट रिक्वेस्ट के लिए, यानी जब आपको किसी से बहुत पोलाइटली बात करनी हो, जैसे वुड यू प्लीज ओपन द डोर या वुड यू लाइक सम टी. और दूसरा यूज होता है पास्ट ऑफ विल, यानी जब हम पास्ट में खड़े होकर फ्यूचर की कोई बात बताते हैं, जैसे शी सेड शी वुड कम टुडे, जिसका मतलब है उसने पास्ट में कहा था कि वो आ जाएगी.
Wow, that was so simple. Viewers, past habit के लिए used to और imaginary situations, polite requests या past of will के लिए would. Simple, right? So Ayushi, back to the story. You were saying that you felt disappointed because companies ignored you. Did that affect your confidence?
Yes, it did. More than I would like to admit. There were days when I started questioning myself. I wondered if my skills were good enough. I wondered if other candidates were much better than me. And the worst thing was that I started focusing more on my problems than on my improvement.
That is actually a very common mistake. Many people spend so much time worrying that they forget to grow.
That is true. In fact, one evening, my father helped me realize exactly that. I was sitting in my room with my laptop open. It was raining outside, and I had already spent hours applying for jobs. My father came into the room, sat beside me, and asked a very simple question.
What did he ask?
He asked me, Ayushi, you are sending 50 resumes every day, but are you spent even 10 minutes practicing how to talk in the interview? That question hit me hard. I realized that I was trying to run away from my biggest fear, which was speaking English confidently in front of the interviewer. My mind always became blank during interviews because I had zero speaking practice.
That is so profound. Your father caught the real problem. So what did you do after that? What efforts did you make to change this situation?
After that night, I stopped worrying about rejections and started making real efforts. I designed a 3-step routine for myself. First, I started mirror practice. Every single day, I stood in front of the mirror and answered basic interview questions loudly. This helped me reduce the shaking in my voice. Second, I started mock interviews with my close friends. We created a serious interview environment at home where they asked me tough questions. And third, I started recording my voice on my mobile phone to check where I was making grammatical mistakes or where I was getting stuck.
Wow, that is amazing. You didn't just sit and complain, you took action. So when you went for your first successful interview, the one with 15,000 salary, how did it feel after all this?
The environment was completely different this time, Raj. It was a rainy Tuesday, and even though I got a bit wet on my way, I was not nervous. I had already given 20 mock interviews at home, so my fear was gone. When the manager looked at me and asked the toughest question, Ayushi, you have no experience. Why should I hire a fresher like you over other candidates? I did not panic. I simply smiled.
That is a very difficult question for any fresher. What did you reply?
I looked into his eyes and said, Sir, they might have experience and better marks, but I have a huge energy to learn. Experienced candidates might need time to unlearn their old habits, but I'm a fresh slate. You can mold me exactly how your company needs. The manager stayed silent for 10 seconds and then he smiled and said, Welcome to the team. That 15,000 job was the start of everything.
What an incredible journey, Ayushi, from a crying student who couldn't introduce herself to working at a global giant like Microsoft. It proves that practice changes everything. Before we close today's podcast, what is your final advice for our viewers who are students or beginners looking for a job?
I want to share 3 simple rules with them. First, stop waiting for perfection. Do not wait until your English becomes perfect to give interviews. You will learn English and build confidence only by facing real interviews. Second, prepare your stories. Every interviewer asks the same 5 or 6 basic questions, so prepare your answers beforehand. And third, treat rejection as a lesson. If you get rejected, don't be sad. Ask the interviewer for feedback on how you can improve and work on that for the next time.
That is gold advice, Ayushi. Practice hard, don't fear rejections, and keep learning. Thank you so much for coming to our podcast and sharing your journey with our viewers.
Thank you, Raj. It was a pleasure talking to you and helping our viewers.
Thank you so much, viewers, for watching this episode. Today we learned how to use used to for past habits and would for imaginary situations or polite requests. We also learned that confidence comes from action, not from worrying. Now here's a small task for you in the comment section. Write one sentence using would for a polite request. Let's see who gives the correct answer. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this podcast. See you in the next episode with a new guest and a new topic. Bye-bye.